Are we consistently looking for the why under the what? Don't want that sometimes. And that's a part of understanding and engaging in choice. But it's more than choice. It's also planning. And this is a bizarre thing for me to say because I still make a significant amount of my income by teaching planning. But if all you do, and I've seen this in provinces and states and countries, people will come out and say, we need person-centered plans, here's your new format, you must follow it, and it's person-centered. And we wind up with bizarre stuff happening where somebody walks up to you and says, excuse me, but I need to know your dream. That's based on a form here. What's your dream? And we have actually ruined the word dream. Because the way we use it when we're doing person-centered planning is we're saying, hey, if everything was to go really well for you, as well as you could ever imagine, and it's 3 years from now, it's 5 years from now, what's your life look like? Dream about that. Tell me what a really better life would look like for you. That's the dream we're asking for. But when it turns into space on a form, it turns into, words on paper. And sometimes we still get really good plans, but we don't train the people who are going to implement them. We train the people who are going to write them. And plans are not self-implementing. So the people who are writing the plans and the people who are implementing the plans both need some of the same skills. The people who are writing them need to know how to write, organize. There's some additional things that people who are writing need to know. But the people who are implementing them need the same kind of skill sets. Especially if you're working with people who don't communicate with words. Because if I'm planning with somebody who doesn't communicate with words, I'm going to rely on the people around that person for input. I'm going to rely on those people who love the person. And if they have some of the same skills that I have, they're going to be able to tell me things in a much faster way. They're going to be able to tell me things in a deeper way. So, training is the answer. Training by itself results in better payback. Training by itself is not the answer. And it's not just isolated examples of best practice. I was talking with one of the people in one of your more progressive agencies last night who's avoiding eye contact with me at the moment. And I was asking her how many organizations in the province or the Ottawa area are also doing best practice. And the answer was, not all. So having some examples of best practice and having inside a big agency, one of the other traps we get into is we have a large agency and we're doing best practice with 5% of the people. So it's not kind of boutique efforts that we make that say this is going to make a difference to 10 people, 15 people. And it's also not something where we see training as the answer all by itself. Because training by itself produces competence. And you all have been through training after training after training. If you've been in this field for a long time, you have forgotten how many trainings you've been to. And the training, if it's a good training, produces competence and a skill. But have you noticed that nobody's doing your work while you're in training? Many of you are going to be looking at your phone sometime today because if you haven't gotten that vibration in your pocket, you're going, there's something wrong with my phone. Because there is this whole crisis mentality. If you're not getting a crisis today, there must be something wrong. So when you get done with training, you go back to your life, you go back to your work life, and you have the same pressures. You have to do something, and you have to do something reasonably quickly to resolve it. And you do what you already know. So training doesn't produce a change in behavior for most people. Training produces competence in the skill, and people will pass a post-test test. But if you want people to actually use the skills, they need structured practice with feedback. If you want the skills to become habit, you have to have some mechanism for there to be structured practice with feedback. There need to be reminders. In behavioral terms, there need to be reinforcers. You need to be praised for using them, reminded when you didn't. You need people looking at how you did and saying, hey, great job, or good job, but you could do better. Because until the skills become habit, they don't count. And the way skills become habit is coaching. And I've worked with agencies where they said, so we need to hire new people? And I'm going, no. How many of you are managers? Show of hands, how many of you are managers? There's quite a few of you who aren't. But all of you who are managers, coaching is part of your responsibility. You are already coaches. So it's not so much a matter of saying we need to hire new people. It's we need the people that we have hired to see part of their role as coaches. Getting people to spread the skills. Getting people to practice the skills. Getting people to use the skills. So we need to know what skills are we talking about. And as we do it, we need to make sure that the people who are doing the coaching are listened to. Because as I'm going to talk to you a little later, there are changes that coaches can make because they just see. The changes that the people who are being coached can make because they just see it. And they can just change it.